Next device is called as NIC. The full form for NIC is Network Interface Card. This NIC acts as an interface between your computer and a network. If you want to connect your computer to a network, you are generally connecting a cable to this port. This network interface card works in both the data link layer as well as physical layer of the OSI reference model. So it will perform the function of data link layer as well as physical layer. At the data link layer, the NIC converts the data packets into data frames and add a MAC address to the data frame. If the MAC address is stored in NIC, that MAC address is attached to the data frame and give it to the physical layer. Here only. In physical layer, it is converting the data into signals and transmitted over this media. NIC comes with different form. In past, we are having a data. In past, the NIC is actually come in the form of expansion card, either PCI or ISA format. This is an example for expansion card. We are just connecting this part to your desktop computer in the motherboard. This is called as expansion card. Nowadays, this NIC comes with a small chip, a IC chip, which is directly embedded inside your motherboard. Today, most of the desktop as well as laptops comes with a small chip of NIC. NIC access the cable depending on the layer 2 protocols, that is a token ring or Ethernet. Such protocols are used for accessing the cables. Some of the connectors we are connecting to this NIC are PNC connector, T connectors, RJ45 connectors. UTP cables are used RJ45 connectors, whereas coaxial cables use BNC or T connectors to connect to this NIC device. This NIC can support up to 10 megabits per second to 100 megabits per second of data transfer. Now, some of the role of the NIC. The first one is called as host to card communication. Now, the NIC communicates with computers using IRQ. IRQ means interrupt request. It will send one interrupt request to the computers and receive the data present in the memory of the computer for data transmission. It is converted into signals and send it to the cables. So it is called as host to card communication. The next one is called as buffering. Whenever it receives the data from the computer, it is stored in a buffer. A buffering means a temporary memory in the NIC. Buffering will be done before any transmission has to be performed. Buffering ensures that NIC has a complete data packet before converting it to frames. So it will prevent any incomplete data transmissions. So this is called as buffering. Means before sending the data, First, it will store the data in the buffer, prepare a proper frame, and transmit the data for a media. The next one is called as frame creation. Once the NIC has all the data that needs to be transmitted, it divides the data into frames. The frame has actually three parts: the header part, the data part, and the trailer part. The header actually contains the source as well as destination MAC address. Data part actually contains the actual data being transmitted, and the trailer part contains some error checking codes, that is redundancy codes like CRC. Okay, the next one is actually called as, next job of the NIC is called as parallel to serial conversion. NIC receives the data in the form of receives the data from the computer in the form of parallel form, that is either in the 32-bit or 64-bit. But before transmitting the data, it has to convert into serial signal, because in medium we are transmitting the data in the form of serial, so it has to convert in the form of serial signal. That is the job of NIC, that is transmit the data in the form of bit by bit. The next job of NIC is encoding, that is the bits are actually converted into electrical signals for transmitting across the cable. For that one, it is using different encoding technique to transmit the data.